The sun was sharp that day, the kind that made the sidewalk too hot to walk on without shoes, and the air felt heavy like it hadn't moved in hours. Maya kept her head down as she left the diner, her backpack slipping off one shoulder, apron still tied around her waist. Her shift had run longer than it should have, and she hadn't eaten since morning. But she was used to that. She passed the park on her way home, like she always did. Nothing ever changed there. Same cracked benches, same dry grass, and same people pretending not to see what they didn't want to deal with. Today, someone new sat on that far bench. An old man. His white shirt stuck to his back, hands shaking slightly as he leaned forward. He looked like he hadn't had water in days. People walked by without glancing his way. A woman with 2 kids crossed to the other side. A jogger turned up his music and passed even closer, ignoring him completely. Maya slowed down. Something felt off, but not in a dangerous way, more like the feeling you get when you know something's about to matter. She stopped walking, opened her bag, and took out the half-full bottle of water she'd been saving. She walked over and held it out to him, without a word. The man looked up slowly. His eyes were dull at first, then a little brighter when he saw her. He took the bottle like it weighed more than it should. He didn't drink right away. He just stared at her hand for a second. "You didn't have to stop," he said. "Yeah, but I wanted to," she answered, brushing hair off her forehead. "You looked like you needed it." He smiled, not big, just enough to soften his whole face. "Kindness is rare these days," he said quietly. "You just changed something big, girl." Maya gave a small laugh. "It's just water." "No," he said, more serious now. "It's never just water." She stood there for a moment, unsure what to say. Then he looked past her and nodded like he was finished. She turned and kept walking, not really thinking much about it. She didn't notice how a few people had started recording. She didn't hear the man whisper her name as she walked away, like it wasn't the first time he'd said it. By the time Maya got home, she felt strange. Not scared, not happy, just like her day had shifted sideways somehow. She ate dinner quietly while her foster mom watched TV. Nothing new. Maya checked her phone while brushing her teeth, half asleep. But then she froze. Her face was on the screen. A video, her giving the water, the old man smiling. It had already been posted by 3 accounts, all saying the same thing. Teen girl helps forgotten stranger, then he disappears. And right under that, something that made her stomach twist. "Does anyone recognize this man? He vanished hours after this video was taken." Maya sat on the edge of her bed, phone still in her hand. Her name was in the comments. People were tagging her, messaging her, asking if she was okay, as if something terrible had happened. She refreshed the video. It had already hit over 300,000 views in 2 hours. Someone had added dramatic music to it. Others were zooming into the old man's face, speculating who he was. She clicked on a news clip. A reporter stood in front of the same park bench, now taped off. Behind her, officers talked in low voices. This man, seen in the viral video, is believed to be Franklin Holt, a former federal judge who disappeared under mysterious circumstances nearly 3 years ago. He was declared legally dead last year after vanishing without a trace. Maya's heart pounded. She had no idea what she was supposed to feel. Scared, confused, or just lost. The man she gave water to wasn't just some tired stranger. He was someone people had been looking for, someone important. The reporter kept talking. Holt was last seen in D.C. before walking out of his office and vanishing. No signs of foul play were found. But today, this young girl may have been the final person to speak to him alive. Maya dropped her phone. She sat still, staring at the floor. Her foster mom knocked and came in, holding her own phone. "Is that really you?" she asked, showing the video again. "What's going on, Maya?" "I just gave him water," she whispered. "That's it." The next day didn't feel like her life anymore. Reporters showed up on their lawn. One tried to talk to her while she was heading to school, shoving a mic in her face. "Maya, did he say anything strange to you? Did you know him before?" She walked past them, holding her backpack tight. People at school stared like she had committed a crime. Some looked impressed. Others looked scared. During lunch, she sat alone, pretending to scroll through her phone. That's when a message popped up from an unknown number. No name, no profile picture, just 4 words. "He chose you, Maya." She stared at it for a long time, her hands going cold. That night, the news took a darker turn. They showed a closer photo of the man from the video, comparing it to old courtroom images. Same jawline, same scar above the eyebrow. There was no doubt now. But the part that sent chills through her spine came at the end of the report. Authorities believe this was not a random encounter. They are now asking the girl seen in the video to come forward immediately. They want to know what she talked about with the man and why he whispered her name, when they've never been known to meet before. Maya looked back at the video. She hadn't noticed it before, but right at the end, when she turned to walk away, he did say something under his breath. She turned the volume up, and there it was, clear as day. She deserves to know. Maya couldn't sleep that night. She kept hearing his voice in her head. She deserves to know. Know what? Who was he to her? She tried to remember every second of their conversation, but it had been so short. She had barely looked at him, but now it felt like he had been looking at her the whole time. The next morning she found a plain envelope taped to their mailbox. No stamps, no name, just her first name written in shaky handwriting. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Inside was a note and a photo. The note said only one sentence: "I'm sorry they kept you from me." The photo showed a baby in a hospital blanket. A woman held her, smiling at the camera. Beside her stood the same old man, Franklin Holt. Younger, stronger, with proud eyes, and in the corner of the photo, written in faded ink, "Maya, 2007. She stumbled back, clutching the photo like it might disappear. She ran inside and locked the door behind her. Everything started spinning. How could this be possible? Why would he have a picture of her as a baby? And why did he say they kept her from him? Within an hour, 2 men in black suits showed up at the door. One flashed a badge, FBI. They asked for Maya. Her foster mom hesitated, but Maya stepped forward. They didn't arrest her. They just asked questions. "What did he say to you? Had you met before? Did he give you anything?" She didn't mention the note or the photo. One of the agents looked at her like he knew something she didn't. Finally, he leaned in and said, "You might want to ask your foster records who signed your original placement forms." After they left, Maya did what she never had the courage to do before. She dug through the old file cabinet in the hallway. In the back of one drawer, stuffed under expired documents, she found her intake file. Most of it was redacted. But at the bottom of the page, in faded type, there it was. Authorized guardian, Franklin E. Holt. Her knees gave out. She dropped to the floor, clutching the paper, unable to breathe. All these years, the court dates, the foster homes, the confusion, and the one person who had tried to claim her had vanished before she was old enough to remember his face. She pulled out the photo again and stared at the man beside her as a baby. Her grandfather. Suddenly her phone buzzed. A news notification lit up the screen. Breaking. Franklin Holt's hidden archive discovered. contains documents naming high-profile figures in national cover-up. Maya blinked at the headline, heart pounding again, and right under it, in bold, sources claim documents were passed to a teenage girl before his disappearance. She stared at the screen. They were talking about her. But she had no documents, at least, not yet. The wind picked up outside, making the windows creak. Maya locked her door and sat on the floor, photo and file still in her lap. Her phone rang again. Unknown number. She let it ring. Then a voicemail popped up. The voice was shaky, old and unmistakable. "If you're hearing this, Maya, it means they got to me. But I left it with someone I trust. You're the only one who can bring it to light now. I wish we had more time." She pressed play again. It was definitely him, Franklin, her grandfather. She checked the message's details. It had been sent from a disconnected line. Her chest felt tight. Her throat burned. He was gone, and yet it felt like he was still guiding her. Minutes later, another knock came at the door. This time it wasn't the FBI or the media. It was a woman, mid-50s, gray scarf, eyes full of something Maya couldn't read. She introduced herself softly. Said she was Franklin's longtime friend. Said he'd trusted her with something. And if Maya was brave enough, it was time. They sat in her car down the block. The woman handed her a USB drive and a small key. "He said you'd know what to do once you saw it," she said quietly. "But it won't be safe for long. They'll come for it." Maya went straight to the library. Her heart thudded with every step. She slid the drive into a public computer and opened the only folder on it. Inside, dozens of scanned files, court memos, audio recordings and names, politicians, judges, CEOs. There were case numbers connected to foster homes, missing teens, sealed trials. Maya covered her mouth. Franklin hadn't disappeared. He had been hunted. For years, he had gathered all of this. And now he had passed it to her. Not just because she was family, but because he believed she'd carry it further. Her name was in one of the files. Her placement into the system had been part of it. Part of a chain meant to silence her mother, who had tried to testify years ago. She left the library in a daze. The weight of it all pressed down hard, but beneath the fear, something else grew. Fire. Determination. This wasn't just about her anymore. The next morning, the news exploded again. Teen girl speaks out, reveals archive from missing judge, federal probe reopened. Clips of Maya speaking into a mic played everywhere. Her voice was soft but clear. "I didn't ask for this. I just gave a man water. But if telling the truth means honoring him, and the thousands of kids who were forgotten like me, then I won't stay quiet." The backlash came fast. Some called her a liar. Others said she was making it up for attention. But the files didn't lie. One senator resigned. Another was indicted. Investigations spread through 3 states. Within a week, Maya was sitting across from a federal task force. They promised protection. They promised change. But she knew better now. Promises were easy. Truth was not. Her life would never go back to normal. The girl who handed water to a stranger had vanished. What remained was someone with a purpose. And in the final shot that played on the evening news, Maya stood outside the courthouse holding a framed photo of Franklin, eyes steady, voice calm. "I wasn't supposed to matter. But I do now, and I won't stop until every truth he died for is known." And underneath the headline, "From one bottle of water, a nation starts to wake up."